Hi, folks. Charlie Ritt with the Ritt Group and Coldwell Banker Realty. And I just want to touch base with you today to talk about what's happening in the market. 2021, the average sale price of homes in the Twin Cities rose 11.5%, which is pretty wild. And everything you hear probably in the media and in the daily news is talking about the low inventory we're seeing in the housing market. And while that's true, that is not the entire story. So when you hear those headlines, you probably think, why isn't anybody listing their home? Where are all the houses? Well, that's not really the case. So I'm going to show you some statistics here. So when you look at the inventory here in the Twin Cities over the past, I don't know, 12 years or so here, that's true. The inventory is at historic lows. Currently, we have in the Twin Cities only 1,824 homes available. That's insane. That's super low. But that's not saying that sellers are not listing their homes. Um, it's more of a reflection on the buyer demand right now. So let's take a look at month supply, which tells us the buyer demand versus the supply, and tells us, are we in a seller's market or are we in a buyer's market? So I'm going to flip over. As you can see, we are at an all-time low for month supply. So we're at a 0.6, meaning if no new inventory hit the market, at the rate at which things are selling, it would take us 0.6 months to sell out of all of the inventory available. If you go back to, let's say, October 2010, we were at 8. Obviously, October 2010, things looked a lot different, but even if you go back to 2017, we had a 2.7. 2014, we were up to a 4.8. So buyers are out there making a lot of offers on what's available. So let's look at the number of new listings that have come on the market over the past several years. You'll see here, June 2021, we had 5291 for new listings, which was more than 2020. Obviously, with the pandemic, that throws off a lot of numbers. So we are down in the number of new listings across the market. When you look at May 2019, we had 5932. So we're only 700 houses short of that. And that was a high of new listings since 2010 was 2019. So we built back up from 2020 and 2021 with new listings. The problem is they just don't stick around. So when you look at closed sales, look at where we were in 2021. Despite not even having the amount of listings that we did in 2019, we still outsold it by quite a bit. We had 4,671 closed sales in June, which is the most active month of the year. So 4671 in June of last year compared to 2019, 4130. So the reason I bring this up is everything that you see in the news right now, everything you hear from your friends, from family, talks about how there's no inventory. And that's true, but with an asterisk. That's not to say houses are not coming on the market. There's just so much more competition for them right now, which is causing these multiple offer scenarios to be more and more aggressive. And so that's what we're seeing. We're seeing it right now. The spring market is here already, believe it or not. And we're just going to have to see what happens here in 2022. I expect that it's going to be more of the same from last year. The one thing that will likely play a factor into this year is that interest rates are expected to rise incrementally over the course of the year, which is going to create challenges for buyers in their buying power. So they may not have that ability to get as aggressive on some of these homes. So we may not see 11.5% in average sales price gains this year, which is probably a good thing, quite honestly. But it's looking like it's going to shape up to be another competitive year in real estate. I hope you found that helpful. If you have any questions or want to chat, we'd love to hear from you.